Hi, this is Sharon Engstrom. I'm coming to you with my graduation video. I'm going to start out quickly with processing the flowers. Now that I have them home, I've gotten them at Whole Foods. I did have to do some substitutions, but as soon as I got them home, first thing I did was get them into a bucket that is about 3-4 inches full with warm water. That, in addition to the warm water, we've got the plant food that we've mixed with it. That's going to help hydrate the plants, allow them to absorb. And before I put them in the water, I did give them all a 45-degree clip. The additional thing, so in addition to the water for the various flowers, I also went ahead and for the hydrangeas, I spritz them to make sure they stay quite hydrated. If they did come with a plastic bag, I would have left that on there, but for now I will just keep them hydrated, and before we transport them to the venue, we'll go ahead and get some plastic put over it. Now that I have them in the buckets, let me just go through and let you know what I have and what I am substituting. So we have an assorted green here. This is going to take the place of the ruscus in my recipe. We have the white hydrangeas. We have the Gerber daisies. And with those, the other thing that I wanted to point out, I already did trim them and get them in the treated water. But they also have the plastic straw in there. And these are actually very nice because they're green and you're not going to notice them. I'm going to let them get hydrated and see how well and how healthy they are. And then I'll leave it up to the students or the attendees if they're going to leave those on when they create their arrangements. Now the other substitution I did have to make was I added the billy balls, and I'm a little concerned here. I did get the Dusty Miller, but I'm not sure if it's going to come back to life. So I'm going to have to decide how and if that's going to be used in the arrangement. We'll see how it does now that it's in the water, in the treated water. And then for the roses, I did go with a garden rose. They're a beautiful variety. The color was lovely. And it really was the healthiest choice I had available. So we will substitute a garden rose for a rose. And I don't know that you are seeing me at the moment. So let me see if I can adjust that. There we go. That works. Great. All right, so I've got my flowers ready. I'm going to get them packed up, ready to go. I did demo the setup for the vase. I have the apron, the rose stripper, and the clippers will go right in each vase for each of the attendees. I have my water and my spritzers available. So these will all be available and set up at the venue. What I'm going to do now is just go ahead and get my apron on, pretend I'm at the venue with a setup ready to go. And from there, I think before we actually start or welcome guests, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have everything set up and ready for them to walk in. So they would come in to a setup like I just demonstrated with the vase. And on the table, I'll have the greens spread out. So I would actually take these and set them in the center of the table, and everyone will have them available to them. I'm just going to try and mock this up, give you an idea. So these are a bit larger greens, and hopefully they will serve their purpose. When I do have access to the florist and ordering through AlicesTable will be more on point with the recipes. I can probably work with Michelle to make any substitutions as needed. So I would set the greens up. Give me a moment, and I have another example of a vase, a clear vase. So at each side I would have that set up. And then I have my flowers ready. I want to remove all the packing at this point. And one thing that I did not prepare for is with a big green or a black garbage bag. That would be perfect. I know that's on my list to bring to an event, so if I had it today, that would have made it a lot easier. Just make a note of that. So I'm getting all the flowers ready, easily accessible for myself and for the attendees. Removing all the packing, making sure they're all healthy and in good shape. I think one thing I learned here is maybe, even though I leave the packing on, I'll probably remove the rubber bands ahead of time so I don't have to worry about them at the venue. I'm going to save the little packets they gave me. And now I can take a good look at how these Gerber daisies are looking. Actually, I really like what I'm seeing. They look nice and strong. The stems look healthy. So I'm happy with these. Get these set back up. And we've got the Gerber daisies ready to go. Oh, and we'll move on to the hydrangea. Looks like we've got three nice large heads. Now our doing a variation on the summertime recipe, the Nantucket Red. It is quite a variation. I know I took liberties of substituting, but I took what I had to work with. And it'll be a pretty arrangement either way. Might not follow the recipe exactly, but we'll go from there. But before we get started, I think I have the flowers set up, the table set up, ready to welcome the visitors. So basically what I want to do in addition to the flowers is make sure I have the sign-in sheet ready to go. Understand any of the logistics of the facility or the venue, make sure we know where to send people to the ladies' room, how to get service, how to get your drinks. We'll go over that with the host at the site. But for now, I am going to pretend all that is taken care of and move on to starting the event. So, this is awkward. I feel like I'm, because it is mock, I feel like I'm acting. So let me just get in another mode here. So I just want to say thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm glad you're here at Alice's Table. I also want to take time to thank our host. They've been very gracious. They have a great facility. So thank you for having all of us here tonight and co-hosting this with us. And ladies, I think you're going to have a great time. I see you all have a drink and you've got your materials in front of you. Is there anything anyone needs before we get started? Great. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Sharon Engstrom. I just recently joined Alice's Table, and I'm more than excited to be part of this. I actually found AlicesTable through an invitation to one of their events locally. So I attended one of their wreath making sessions and made a gorgeous fall wreath. What I didn't know is that they hold these events all over different locations, different venues, and they actually, I guess the thing that I didn't know and love about them is that they are so focused on building women bosses. So you want to be a girl boss, an entrepreneur, and start your own business, you can do that with them, and they're going to support you all the way. But in addition to that, they also build their business on collaborating with local small businesses. So that is another thing that I loved about the whole concept. And to find out that I can take my passion for flowers and for making things and share that with others and bring it into the community and build my own community, they got me. It's fantastic. So here I am tonight. I get to show you and bring these fun flowers to you, and hopefully you enjoy. So just to get started, I want everybody to take a look at what you have in front of you. You'll have your vase, and in your vase you'll see that you have cutters. And this is what's called a rose stripper. And everyone has their own apron. So go ahead and take your apron out, put it on, get your station situated. And we're going to start by getting our vases prepared. Now I have here floral tape that we are going to build a grid on our vase. This is a very water resistant, strong tape. It's very thin, so it's going to give you the flexibility to put flowers where you want, but it's also going to give you the ability to build some structure in your arrangement. So we're just going to set up a tic-tac-toe pattern, 2 across, turn it and do 2 across the other way. And we want to do the tape before we fill our vases with water. And this way the vase won't get wet and it won't affect the tape adhering to the vase. So now that we have 2 across and 2 this way, we're going to take the watering can. There's several watering cans you can all share, but since you're going to be taking these home tonight, I want you to just go ahead and fill it up about 1/4 of the way. Just enough so that when we put the flowers in, we know that they're going to get a drink of water. And just as an idea, the one thing I want you to know about the water, number one, I've already added plant food, so they will be getting the nourishment they need. But the second thing is, these are all very new and fresh flowers. They drink very quickly when they're new. They're going to take a lot of water. So when you get home, go ahead and fill this up much higher and just keep an eye on it in the next couple days. Keep it filled because they will drink quickly. And the second thing I didn't mention, the water temperature. There's a lot of discussion about should it be hot, should it be cold, should it be cool, warm. Basically, you're going to want a room temperature. The room temperature is going to just keep the flower in the condition that they're in and give them a nice long life. You will find if you treat them with a warm water, it may enhance the blooms. So think about that. If you're creating an arrangement and you're going to be using it this evening and you want full bloom roses, you can add a touch of warm water, and that is going to encourage them to bloom fully. So now that we've got the vase ready, what we'd like to do is get started with our greens. The greens are what we use to make the base of our recipe or our arrangement. They build a structure and will give you the basis to build on. We're going to start with the greens, and then from there we'll go to the largest flowers and then build down to the smallest flowers to fill in, and then the additional adornments that we're going to use. So everybody has greens in front of them. If you'll just take one or two, and we're going to trim these down. So with these, we don't want the greens to be in the water, so we're going to strip those, and we're going to start around the edges. And it's going to build a nice base around it. Now that we have a taller piece, I'm going to try using that in the center. So, and the one thing that you can see very much with these greens is that they have a face. You have a very green front to these leaves, and then I would call this the back side of the leaf. So just something to keep in mind when you're adding them to your arrangement and adding the additional flowers. It's going to be a round arrangement if you're doing a table arrangement. So you're going to want to have the green showing on all sides. So these are very full and very large. Normally with a filler green, you're going to have a smaller leaf. But we will work with these, and I'm going to pull a few of these off. You don't want to have too much of the leaf in the water. It can encourage bacteria growth, and once you have one bad one in there, it can affect the others. So let's get these. So if you see, I've added the back side, and I'm going to turn this around